Got an chest cold open. It's me, your friend Aspiring Spike, and welcome to my Shark Typhoon. As an incredibly influential and handsome e-boy, I get a lot of deck suggestions. Spike, play 80-card Yorion Pile. Spike wears Clothis. Spike, play Boomer Affinity. Well, my only affinity is for MTGO trophies, which is why we're going to get today with an updated mono blue affinity list. So watch and enjoy. Do your part 2, sub, like, comment, hit the bell, buy anything to plush you from Spikeling Sport. Thank you, Jess. Good morning, everybody. Okay, so this is a deck that we're working a lot with the release of the latest Kamigawa set. We were kind of on a warpath, brewing with Moonsnare Prototype. I kind of view this deck as being in the same family as the blue-white affinity midrange deck that's kind of popular at the moment. That deck is splashing white for Portable Hole and Esper Sentinel, and I'm choosing to have a better, more consistent mana base and play kind of Hard Evidence and Moonsnare Prototype instead of Portable Hole, Esper Sentinel. So your mana is all just play untapped. It's a lot more consistent because you don't need white into a lot of blue mana. And you also have a lot more mana acceleration too, because you get to play Moonsnare Prototype and Springleaf Drum. So this is a deck we were playing a lot back when, again, the Kamigawa set released. And I was liking it a lot. We were doing a lot of winning with it, but we kind of got a little burned out on the affinity decks and stopped playing it. I was a big fan of this strategy. I've recently... we were playing more Consulate Dreadnoughts back then. Dreadnought's kind of a weird card in the deck. It's both an Urza Saga target. It can be a giant threat as an Urza Saga target, but it's also like pretty easy to crew it with Nettlecyst, Urza, and Urza Saga tokens. But I've kind of decided to favor Aether Spellbomb today instead of the Consulate Dreadnoughts, where there's a ton of Murktide. Hammer Time is on the swing up again, and then Aether Spellbomb is just kind of a generically good card of the deck because it's a pretty good protection for your Urzas and Thought Monitors. You can play Urza, have an Aether Spellbomb in play, and if they kill your Urza, you just get to bounce it. You get to bounce your own Thought Monitors, which can be pretty valuable. And then also just like having 1-mana artifacts that tap to Moonsnare Prototype for mana is really nice. Hard Evidence particularly is really nice in this deck because the Crab token can tap to your Springleaf Drum, and then the Clue token can tap to your Moonsnare Prototype, or the Crab can tap to Moonsnare Prototype too. And you have one card that can tap to both these to make mana, which is really nice, and it helps with affinity, obviously. So I'm excited for the deck. This has felt like the better version between this and like the more Dreadnought heavy, more aggressive version. By the way, Emery doesn't feed here. No, Emery kind of sucks here, I think. Soul, thank you for the 17 months. Appreciate you. Okay, so in my opinion, you should be playing 16 payoff effects besides Urza Saga. You could count Urza Saga as a payoff too. You can count Urza Saga as a payoffs, but I think Urza Saga is so obviously an include. I think I usually like to think that I want 16 payoffs, and then the rest of these are going to be the enablers for the affinity, infinity enablers and cheap acceleration into your payoffs. The best payoffs are these 4 cards, in my opinion: Urza, Thought Monitor, Nettlecyst, Thoughtcast. I think that Emery, the 4-mana Tezzeret, the blue one from Kamigawa, are like fine cards. They're totally fine. Cranial Plating is a fine card, but I think that they're a step below the 4 that I don't think that the deck has room for these. I'm gonna keep this hand. It's pretty good. Turn 2 Nettlecyst into play. Lemon, 12 months. Appreciate you. Then Soul to 17. Moonsnare into Aether Spellbomb. Yeah, I think Dreadnought's most appropriate as a one of Urza Saga target. You're pretty happy to draw it too most of the time. What do you slide out with Rakdos Rock against 4 color? Usually slide out the list in the stream decker is a little out of date, but I usually slide out the Lightning Bolts, Fatal Pushes, Kolagon's Command, but lately I've been leaving in 1 Fatal Push, and I've been playing 2 Deltas over 2 Blackleaf Cliffs, leaving in 1 Fatal Push, bringing in Boil, Pithing Needle, Turok number 4. I don't know why I'm blanking on what my other my other sideboard cards are. Hold on. It's still early, I guess. Oh, whoops, wrong thing to tap. So turn 2 Giant Nettlecyst. Pretty good. 6/6. Last night I was playing Esper Food struggling against this deck specifically. Do I have any sideboarding tips? I haven't actually played against like this version of Affinity with Esper Food, but usually you want to kind of focus on either killing their creatures with Asmo or time shift comboing. Oh, sorry. Do you keep in Terminates? I keep in 2 Terminates, yeah. Oh, I've also had the extra Liliana in the sideboard. Sorry, what's the command for the deck tech? I have an extra Liliana in the sideboard, which I was doing because I think it's better against Omnath and better against Murktide. Oh boy, deck just has so much card advantage. So I think I'm just going to be cracking a Clue, end of turn, cracking in for 6. No, don't bring in Voidmere against Omnath. Hold on, let me just like... It's been all weekend doing this, but... Yeah, my paper list was a little different. I was playing Deltas over Cliffs. I was playing 3rd Liliana in the main over the Kolaghan's Command. I ended up not playing Break the Ice. I ended up playing... 1 Boil. I can't remember what the other card was. Sorry. Can't remember what the other card was. It's downstairs in the deck box. The Subscriber. Yeah, I think this mono blue deck is like I remember like we were working on it, and like the whole time like this deck just felt so good, and I stopped working on it, and then everybody just decides to play the blue white version instead. But like when I was testing the Neon Dynasty decks, I started off with like the blue white Affinity, and I really feel like this deck has more explosive potential, and it has a much more Scourge. I feel like this deck has more explosive potential and has a lot more consistent mana, and that makes me, I think, favor this one a bit more. Okay, so I think I'll leave this up to bounce. Yeah, I'm gonna get in. I'm gonna get in. What am I setting Omnixus for? The burn matchup. Basically just exclusively for the burn matchup. Okay, put a Bragavan into the graveyard. We're going to move the Nettlecyst over to the Crab. Spinach, 18 months. Appreciate you. Love to see Inquisition getting cast. Is Scourge still played in Modern? It's kind of like, so my opponent's playing an interesting build of Scourge. To be honest, it's not a very common thing. I played like a little bit around with it lately. I typically like to play Ground Rift, or sorry, Flame Rift, to enable both Shadow and Scourge, and like be a more cohesive burn deck with Swiftspear. This is how I like to play with Scourge in Modern, but my opponent's playing a more like fair version, it seems. Why not 1 Minamo is free? I think that for Minamo specifically, the upside of untapping an Urza is a smaller upside than... I'm probably going to bounce this. Let's take a draw. The upside of untapping an Urza is smaller, is worse than like being an island against a Blood Moon, in my opinion. I think an island against a Blood Moon is more relevant than untapping exactly Urza. Okay. 2 mana Thought Monitor is fine. So I have 1, 2. Yeah, good draw. I guess I should have waited on my land though. So I guess I need to not play this Aether Spellbomb so I can pop a Spellbomb and make a Saga token. I'll go to make them sacrifice a creature with this attack. Worst player here, think of 8 months, appreciate you. Or yeah, Oboro is a bit different, where Oboro lets you filter colorless mana into blue mana, which is really relevant in the deck with double blue, like lots of colorless lands, double blue Urza, multiple like blue Thoughtcast, Thought Monitors. And at the very least, it barely has a downside too, right? Like, the downside is just that it doesn't tap for blue when Blood Moon is in play. So in my opinion, the Oboro, the Otawara are worth playing, Minamo is not worth playing. Okay, so we are up a game against Red-Black Scourge. I think I may be interested in, like, second Relic over the Dreadnought and just clicking submit. Are there any Naya Zoo aggro decks that are viable, or are the creatures just outclassed at this point? I don't know. Like, you have to, if you're gonna play Naya Zoo, you have to like have a good reason to be playing Naya Zoo instead of. I'm gonna keep this instead of Prowess or Burn or like the Lubomancer, Heroic, Flame Rift, Ground Rift deck, or you know, one of the other popular aggro decks in the strategy, one of the popular aggro strategies in the format. And as far as I can like really tell, there's not like a really good reason to play Naya Zoo instead, besides maybe just like catching some opponents by surprise. What made you choose Flusterstorm over Spellpierce for the list? Yeah, I'm almost exclusively siding in Flusterstorm against Cascade combo. So I wanted to choose Flusterstorm, although that may actually be incorrect now that what's the Canisters combo deck? I can never remember the name of the card. The 4-mana enchantment, you get to play an extra land, draw 2 cards every time you cast a spell. That deck's been kind of popular lately, and Spellpierce doesn't exactly work very well against that deck. Song of Creation, yeah, or sorry, Flusterstorm doesn't work well against that deck. So maybe you play maybe you are supposed to play Spellpierce instead. Kind of an interesting conversation, but for the most part, Flusterstorm is like to be like better against Cascade, and don't really want them too many other places. Muckhead with the $10. Thank you for the deck tech. If you post a link in the chat, I can take a look. I think I'm supposed to pop this clue here. Getting a little flooded. That's okay. I got a lot of sagas. So if I play this Saga, make a token, then if I get a Springleaf Drum, I can make another token next turn, so I think I should do that. Ipni Rivulet. Why the Rivulet? I don't think that the ability to mill with Rivulet is more relevant than like the fact that you take a point of damage when you tap it from blue. And that doesn't tap for blue through Blood Moon. No, it's old hat by now. Thanks for putting the formatted titles, so no disrespect for archetypes. Yeah. I think it's good too. Even though I haven't been playing much Pioneer lately. I will circle back at some point. Okay. So let's get a Springleaf Drum. Be nice, Vander. This is a friendly chat here. So why is there Oboro? Oboro is here so we can talk about something. So we have something to talk about constantly during the stream. The Oboro is also here so you can filter a colorless mana into blue. And, you know, sometimes you get to, like, pick it up and discard it to Kroxa instead of discarding a card you would rather discard. So, like, there's always that upside. It has come up like once or twice, but there's almost no downside besides not tapping for blue via Blood Moon. But to be honest, for me personally, it's probably positive EV to cut it from the list, so I don't have to answer like the question about Oboro constantly. I think I'm gonna keep this on the draw against a Yorion deck. What's nice about that version is like your curve is a lot lower and you have a lot more castable spells in the early game too. I don't have an example list super handy, but that is the version I would be on. I think that building the deck like this with a lot of like big goofy cards to Vanifar into is not the direction I would go. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna play the Ornithopter quite yet. Like building the deck that way lets you win the game like immediately and lets your curve be a lot lower. And you do get to have a higher on average card quality. So maybe someone can pull up an example list for that, because that's the direction I would definitely recommend going. Okay, Sacred Foundry untapped. Pass. You got a March of Otherworldly Light? That would be brutal. I almost feel like it's good to sack the Aether Spellbomb. I think I'm not going to, though. Is there any merit to playing Voidwalker in the Board of Shadow? I haven't, like... So, like, Voidwalker's, like, a bit more of a slower, more mid-rangey card. Death Shadow decks, like, need your curve to be as low as possible, need you to be a little bit more aggressive. Not that it's, like, ludicrous to play those two cards together, but I don't usually recommend it, I guess. Yeah, I agree that Aether Spellbomb is really good right now, which is why we're playing just the full 4 main. My opponent tutored up a Fury. It's fine with me, I guess. Thoughts on Scales in the current format? I mean, I think Scales is, like, quietly always great. Just, like, very subtly always one of the best decks in the format. Opponent did not Yorion in the hand. Do you think creativity decks are better off playing Archon or Titan? I usually like Archon a little bit more just because it stabilizes a bit better than Titan earlier. And, like, Titan obviously gives you a better late game, maybe it makes you better against control, but I think that, in my opinion, I'm going to prioritize just stabilizing, because you already have a really good late game as creativity. Bobble not good in the deck? Not really. I don't think that Bobble's very good in the deck. You know, we played a ton, like, back when Kamigawa came out, all we were doing were playing, like, different variations on this archetype. We tried Bobble, we tried, like, literally everything. This version with no Bobble, no Imri, Thoughtcast, Thought Monitor, Nettlecyst, Urza as payoffs, or Urza Saga also as a payoff. Mono blue mana base, not splashing white for the cheap creatures. This always felt like the best version to me. And I'm definitely happy to show off a little bit of it today. So let's go ahead and cast a Thought Monitor too. Do go with the 9 months, appreciate ya. Love the blue-white version with no 4-drops. Yeah, I think that version is fine, but it's like this version like is a really, really good Urza deck, and Urza is just like so absurd. But you know, the white cards obviously give you access to Dispatch, Portable Hole, Sentinel, which are really good. But you know, I will also say like the mana being really consistent and all in and untapped while still getting to play a lot of artifact lands is great. My biggest issue with blue-white was always the mana base. The mana base is like sketch as hell because you need a lot of untapped white mana and you need a lot of untapped blue mana, and you want to play a lot of colorless lands. It's not great. I'm having one, a baby that is. I don't know if that's just the sub baby or a real baby, but either way, congratulations. The white card's worth the trade-off. Yeah, I know a lot of people are of that opinion. My findings was I disagreed when I was working on the deck a lot, and so just playing some more of it today. You know, one thing I really like about this archetype is a lot of the times, not all the time, but a lot of the times it does just overpower the Omnath deck, which is not an easy task to accomplish. I think this turn I'm playing Darksteel Citadel, casting Hard Evidence. Probably casting Shadowspear, attacking both constructs. I wonder if it's more relevant to leave up Aether Spellbomb activation in case they have Ephemerate. I guess that's better, because I already have lethal with my 2 constructs here. Jack Unicorn, thank you for the 8 months. Appreciate you. So for Vanifor combo, do they just play Extraction Specialist or do they use Renegade? Yeah, usually it's 4 Specialists, 2 Rally, or 2 Glassful Mimic is what I would recommend. Okay, 2 Spirit Tokens. That's fine. A Fog. Yeah, I think leaving up the Aether Spellbomb in case my opponent has Ephemerate is the line here. But it might Yori on me this turn. Love to draw an Urza. Would you bounce Omnath response to fetch? I don't think so. I think I'm just supposed to save it for an Ephemerate. Although my opponent is Yorioning here. I wonder if it's good to bounce anything in response to Yorion. Probably not. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna save it the whole game for an Ephemerate. Like bouncing the Fury doesn't do much, just kills my crab token. How do you dress down a Nettlecyst interact? I believe that Dress Down does not beat Nettlecyst. I believe Nettlecyst still gives the +X, but maybe we'd call judge on that one. Rest in peace, sweet crab. I will make a token in response so that I don't give my window to resolve Ephemerate. Is Charmal worth a Murktide board if their meta's a lot of Tron? It's a fine choice. You might be better off playing more counterspells. You might be better off playing Ceremonious Rejection, but it's definitely not a bad choice. I think I could get my Consulate Dreadnought, but I think I might just want to get another Springleaf Drum, get more mana here. So I have a drawn Thought Monitor for turn. Well, I guess I should have tapped this island instead of the construct first. And then could equip the Shadowspear. I think instead I'm going to just go Hard Evidence, Shadowspear. Again, leaving up the Spellbomb for Ephemerate. Attack with 3 12/12s. And then I just back it in. Yeah. This is definitely like one of the things to really like about Mono Blue is like this is like I think the blue-white affinity is also like good against Murktide and Omnath. They're like good enough, but I've always liked these matchups. And then with the four Aether Spellbombs in the main, I think your Murktide matchup is like just kind of chef's kiss. I think I'm gonna play a Pithing Needle over the Relic of Progenitus. And I'm unlikely to sideboard too differently. I don't think you want to dilute your artifact synergies with Ashiok. I don't even like Ashiok that much in the matchup anyways. I think you could play a Relic over the Shadowspear. Shadowspear has its moments though. I wonder if Springleaf Drum is underplayed in Pioneer. Yeah, I was kind of looking at a few different Springleaf Drum decks. Like Springleaf Drum Magda specifically looks kind of interesting, but we'll see. Think about adding Nettlecyst back into Hammer for 4 color. Yeah, I think Nettlecyst is like totally reasonable option for Hammer. Did I try the blue drum from Neo? It's in the deck. it's currently here. Just like having the density of acceleration is really important in the Urza deck, and then it does have the upside of Hammer where you can tap cards like Aether Spellbomb, Dreadnought, Pithing Needle, Nettlecyst, to the Moonsnare to make, or the Clue token from Hard Evidence too, all tap to make mana, where Drum needs a creature. And then, you know, it does have this channel ability comes up really often too. The ability to channel to totally lost something uncounterable, like does actually come up. T-Paz, tier 2 for 30 months. Thank you, buddy. It's a long time. Appreciate you. Probably keeping this. They just stream what's rejection for specifically? Tron. It's exclusively for Tron. Tron is what is your worst matchup probably. And so, you know, this is kind of also my philosophy for these really linear synergy-based decks like this. That I don't like to have a lot of like fair generic sideboard cards. I like to have super impactful sideboard plans, or in a lot of matchups like this that you're already kind of favored, be okay not sideboarding very much. Muck Kid, thank you for the Switch Prime. Appreciate you. In my opinion, Ceremonious Rejection is the best card this deck can play to beat the Tron decks. Tron decks are really scary because of Karn the Great Creator, mostly Oblivion Stone, and the fact that our clock is like not the fastest. Good name, Renin 6 here. Consider offer you can't refuse for Time Civ combo. I'm thinking of adding it for my Stores Championship. Why do you want to play offer you can't refuse? If you want to play it as just a fair counter spell, I really recommend against it. If you want to play it, if you want to play it to counter your own spell to make treasure tokens, I recommend against it. I think that it's not something I'm interested in at all. If there's some other interesting techie reason that you have for wanting to play the card, I'm open to hearing it, but I don't understand why you want it. Would adding the date to your deck names help with organization at all? I mean, doing anything else besides what I'm doing would help with organization, but I don't know. I feel like I'm doing okay. Guess I'm not playing the Ornithopter yet. Hard Evidence specifically, I think, is like, this is the best card in the deck. Okay, maybe not the best card in the deck, but it just does so much. It does so much. It gives you a body for your Nettlecyst. It taps the Drum. The Clue token traps the Moonsnare Prototype. It helps with Affinity. It blocks Ragavan. Just does it all. Ooh, they hit my Beseiju. Or my Needle, sorry, with Beseiju. So I guess I'm cracking this clue into turn. They're going to Red in 6, maybe bring back Beseiju. I don't have a second Needle. I can blue-white control consistently and beat 4-color post-board. You can beat it pre-board, even. I've been telling this for a long time. Nobody wants to do this. I mean, okay, I understand not wanting to play Yorion, but I believe that this version of control, maybe you want to make some changes. I haven't played the deck in a while, but I was really consistently beating 4-color with this version. I was really consistently beating 4-color with this version. This was a few months ago. I don't know exactly what changes I would recommend, but this 80-card banned control deck, I always felt like had a totally reasonable 4-color matchup. 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I sacking this clue? Can Needle name Beseiju? It can, yeah.
What's up? It's me, your friend Aspiring Spike.
Okay, I can't quite Nettlecyst and attack this turn. I think I'm playing just the Memnite. I guess Fury's getting me no matter what. I'll just do this then. Hey, Moose. Base deck last night, Sword Champ came in third. Yeah, I think the deck is really good. I was working on it so much during Kamigawa. We spent like weeks and weeks on Affinity. I felt like this was the best version. I made some updates to it too, but nobody ended up playing it after. So I think it's a good time to circle back. We actually played a board game with Break against 4-color. I haven't, and I've kind of decided that while like it's nice that Break the Ice gives you like extra game against Tron. Tron is pretty popular. I think it's probably just like not the best plan against them. So I'm just kind of off of it again. Not that I ever even playtested it, but just kind of thinking about it more. It definitely was never intended to be like the tech to just win the matchup either, but the idea was it gave you like a density of cards to sideboard in the matchup while also giving you extra game against Tron, with Tron being popular, which I thought was an okay thought. Wish for the 18 months, appreciate you. It definitely has its moments too. Also became worse once it was more of a known quantity. Okay, to Fairy the Fun Raveler. Probably bouncing the Saga. Make a token. 4/4 token. Would love to get to kill this Rin in 6 so they can't loop the Beseiju. So then we have 5 artifacts. No reason to play the Urza Saga first. Hope we don't get Supreme Verdicted. Yeah, I'm gonna circle back to Blue-Black Shadow probably this week sometime. Okay, so they save their Teferi by heating the Memnite. That's fine. Loose it down the second paper, mix it with colorless version of the deck. You made 2. I was always really soft versus Murktide LGS. Yeah. This again, this is kind of partially where we're at right now in the modern metagame is like working largely on decks that are good against both Murktide and Omnath, and this is one of those decks with like heavy sideboard plans for other decks in the metagame too. Is Rockrick completely unplayable in Modern? I would say definitely not. Back during the old trophy races, I see you're a first-time chatter, so you may not be very familiar with those, but back during the old trophy races, okay. They're here somewhere. We did a lot of trophies with General Rockrick in like a 4-color Chalice of the Void kind of control deck where Chalice is like really well positioned. What's nice about Rockrick and Chalice is like most multicolored spells are basically all good multicolored spells. Cost more than 1 mana, so you can Chalice on 1 really effectively. I thought it was 4-color General. Or no, maybe it's... Yeah, so a lot of different versions of the deck, a lot of different trophies. This is a deck that I like to play when Murktide, Hammer Time, and Cascade decks are really popular, and a deck I don't like to play when big mana decks and 4-color, or the regular 4-color Omnath decks are popular. Take up Urza Saga. Should I just go for lethal here? 12, 13, 14. Probably better to not. Although I think that we're probably going to be good against almost anything here. Thank you, friends. Glad you're able to pop in. What am I looking for in a deck to like the matchup versus Murktide? Well, it's kind of a complicated question. But there are a few different ways to attack the Murktide matchup. I guess I'm just trading here. There's a few different ways to attack the Murktide matchup. I think you can have a good matchup by either having a lot of super efficient removal backed up by powerful 2-for-1s like Rakdos does, where you've got a lot of really good removal for the matchup. Oh, interesting. They're just gonna take. How much is this? They're ephemerating. Prismatic. Okay. That's fine. I'm a bit worried about a Supreme Verdict, although verdicts are kind of rare. They sometimes have 1 or 2 though. Bay with the 3 months. Thank you. So yeah, you can do that. You can have like a lot of efficient removal backed up by 2-for-1s like Rakdos does. You can play a deck like this that is both like really good against Ragavan because you have access to a lot of cheap blockers for it, and you're pretty resilient to counter spells because you're an Urza Saga deck, and you have a lot of like really cheap 1-mana card advantage spells. So that's usually good. And your deck is also generally resilient to their creature removal here too, which is all like a pretty good formula. And this deck plays Aether Spellbomb to bounce Murktide, so it's harder for them to cheese you out with a Murktide. But it just kind of all depends, I guess. I guess I should just bounce the Omnath here. Though I don't have to worry about trying to like equip a Shadowspear necessarily. Although I think I am going to. Well, a Springleaf Drum actually puts me 1 short of Nettlecyst. I guess I'm just gonna grab. No, I'm still gonna get a Springleaf Drum, cast a Nettlecyst, leave up Aether Spellbomb to bounce my Thought Monitor. And I think I probably should send Thought Monitor mid-minded to Fairy. Abyss Lethal assumes they don't have Solitude. Yeah, for sure. I think playing into a Solitude is kind of unnecessary. We just have so much grindy potential here. Again, this is you know one of the there are plenty of decks in the format that just go over the top of 4-color Omnath. They're none of the decks that you like to play probably, but there are plenty of decks in the format that do meet this qualification of just going over the top. And so here we can Aether Spellbomb our Thought Monitor if they do have a verdict. Without a verdict, or dress down, they're going to be pretty toast. Yeah, we had lethal with equipped Nettlecyst, but I thought playing into a Solitude was not great. Not that they had it. Minus for Ragavan. I don't think you want to play Wandering Minds in those Grixis decks without Unearth. And also like cutting Ragavan I think is incorrect too. Probably a little lost in the sauce. You worked on some kind of Pioneer Orzhov mid range? I have, yeah. It's been a little while. I never really, I don't know. I was never felt like a 75 I was super happy with. And for like the longest time I thought Kaya's Gaia was legal in the format. But I do really like Vanishing Verse and Archon of Emeria, so this is kind of like where I was at, but not thrilled. Yeah, Ceremonious Rejections for Karn and Tron decks in general. Tron's pretty popular. Played against Affinity last night with Ragavan and Mox Amber. I recently got turned to my opponent. My opponent went turn 1 Ragavan Mox Amber, bolted Galvanic Blasted my turn 1 creature, and it hit me with Ragavan, cast an Urza on turn 2. It was nasty. Speaking of Urza, okay, I'm just going to attack the team. Is Aether Sworn Sphinx taking a look at these brews? That's the Affinity blue-white one? Yeah, I don't think so. It's a really cool card though, but the problem is like you're just always going to I guess they did have it. The problem is you're like always going to like you're just gonna hit a Memnite and an Ornithopter way too often for me to like really be very excited about that plan. This is an interesting hand. Very, very high upside if we can draw a land. We're on the draw. I'm gonna keep it. Our deck doesn't mulligan that well anyways. So obviously you kind of need to think of a different plan too. I'll also say that I don't think Deathred Shaman is amazing without the rogues that are milling your opponents. I think like there's tension with like trying to like loot cards away, and then maybe you'll get to Deathred Shaman activate. Just not a big fan. Oath of Distance seems pretty bad here too, if I'm being real. Didn't draw the land. Arasta is a pretty good sideboard card. Scarab God is completely unplayable in Pioneer, sorry. Yeah, I don't understand the Oath of Misses basically at all here. Guess they dig you for your Valkyries, but yeah, maybe that's the idea. Ooh, Hard Evidence is so good here. So we go Hard Evidence, Springleaf Drum. We get to play one more 1-drop. Probably another drum. Are Dota decks back? No, they're never coming back unless I get really broke for some reason. I don't have the cage of the sideboard right now. Yeah, no. Yeah, Hard Evidence is nuts. It's really good. I think we'll concede to Yawgmoth. It's really hard for them to brick here. Really hard for me to win even if they do a brick. Okay, so we're going to bring in Needle and Ashioks, I think. I think Ashiok's good on the play. Maybe a little slow on the draw. I think I'm going to cut the Dreadnoughts. Could play one Relic. I think bringing in the double blue Ashiok, I'm going to cut a Moonsnare Prototype. Maybe 2. Although the channel is kind of nice. Cut a couple Nettlecyst for mana curve considerations. Could be fine. Maybe we'll cut a Memnite too. You answered that with such vindication. I don't know. You answer the same question 100 times. You just got to start answering with a little bit more vindication. You know what I mean? How often do you sideboard more than 4 cards? 5 cards? Almost never, I would imagine. 4 or 5 seems like about the maximum. Unless, I guess, I know against the exception would be Living End, because against Living End you want to bring in the extra relics and the Flusterstorms. But, like, the idea is that you don't want to sideboard too heavily because you don't want to dilute your artifact synergies, but when you sideboard in Relic, you're not diluting your artifact synergies. How to put a cast Bloodburst to turn Cord? Yeah, Cord. Cord or, they had their land drop for turn. Maybe they didn't have the 1 extra mana to just cast it. Okay, let's keep this hand. A weird one. I don't like that this doesn't protect Ashiok very well. I'll put back an island. So I can't Thoughtcast. I'm 1 artifact short. I guess I'm gonna pop the Relic, which I don't love. We'll see. Maybe I'll just, like, keep the Relic in play, then Thoughtcast next turn. If I don't draw land for Ashiok. No, drawing land or 0 mana creature for Ashiok has just got to be... It's just got to be that important. Although maybe my opponent just naturally has Yawgmoth. Not great. Awkward draw. The dark side of Affinity. You board in a 3-mana Planeswalker and your hand doesn't do anything. Lynn's Blair, 2 months. Appreciate you. Glad you liked the stream. I heard somebody was playing a deck like this with Affinity or with Upheaval in the main. I thought that was kind of interesting, but probably way too win more. where like you already have like a really good late game. But maybe Upheaval is like fine as like a one-of against big mana decks in the sideboard. That was kind of interesting. Oh, Saffron Olive did it? Okay, that makes more sense. I don't know, it doesn't seem like that bad of an idea. Especially if you're playing the 8 drums too. There's the chord, Ashiok looking at the chord sadly. In Soul Artifact any good? Not in Modern. Especially not with like all like Prismatic Ending in the format now. March of Otherworldly Light. People legit win games is surprisingly good. Well, again, like the idea is that the card is... My evaluation of the card is win more, right? Where it is definitely going to look good when you get to cast it, because it's a 6-drop. It's a 6-drop that wins the games. But Affinity is a deck that needs a lot of cheap cards. It needs a lot of early game permanence. And having 6-drops... Having 6-drops in your deck that just, like... require you to already be winning the game. Like, you have to be winning the game for Upheaval to, like, win you the game already. That's usually not a card that you want to put in your deck, right? Yeah, and bam, Mox Opal. But you can only play one of, and it's an Urza Saga target. Right, no lands, no keep. Okay, pretty good hand. I like... The hard evidences are looking good. Although maybe I'm putting back the second hard evidence. So we can go with this hand... Island, Springleaf Drum, Ornithopter, hard evidence. I think that's fine. And the next turn, we can go Moonsnare Thoughtcast. Esper Sentinel. I think that's fine. Maybe it's not fun. Because I can't Thoughtcast this turn if I don't pay. I think I'll just let them have the card so I can Thoughtcast. Don't love it. I think I can sack the Clue token end of turn if I want. Although the Clue token is being tapped to the draw, to the Moonsnare, but I have these two to tap to these two. It's probably fine. Another deck tech. Attacker on this decker. Land for Urza next turn would be perfect. Absolute perfection. One card for each card and exile. Okay. Another day, another another Dreadnought deck tech for Horsesuit. Oh, sorry, I have the 4 mana for Urza already. I don't know how I just missed that. Okay, Urza. Gonna hold this Moonsnare for the channel ability, I think. Pass back. Feeling good. I don't know. This list might actually be absolute perfection. I might like be interested in playing Force of Negation over the Brazen Borrowers or Spell Pierce, but or like, you know, two of those sound effects over like the Borrowers 2 and 3. I think Borrowers 2 and 3 are kind of a lot, but maybe there's a lot of like dark depths in the format that I don't know about. Ooh. Oh, they tutored Shadowspear. Okay, but yeah, I guess that means they just have this in hand. Gonna be tricky to beat this, but possible maybe. John, 5 months. Mage of the 5. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not sure if Defense of the Heart is good, but it's definitely cool. I don't know if I can build you a Legacy sideboard right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I think the play is Nettlecyst, can't pay, hold up the Moonsnare Prototype channel, and pass. And then I can get Aether Spellbomb maybe next turn. The decision between Ura Murktide by turning Murktide into a 7/7 Ward 4. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I like that part. They're gonna another hammer, another card off the Pure Steel Paladin. But I guess so now I have to Moonsnare Prototype the Shadowspear and chump block with the Ornithopter, which is fine, I guess. This works, unless they have Blacksmith skill. Like to see Springleaf Drum do this. Oh, I don't. My Urza Saga's not coming off next turn. I thought it was coming off next turn. It's 2 turns from now. Makes it a little bit harder. Alright, we're gonna need to draw incredibly well. And I guess that's step 1. I'm also letting my opponent have infinite cards, but maybe maybe that doesn't matter. Copium. Ooh, Otawara. Okay. Otawara costs 3 mana to channel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Do I have enough mana to make a Saga token, Nettlecyst, and channel? Maybe I do. 3 mana here. Make a Saga token. I think I'm 1 mana short. 1, 2, 3, Nettlecyst. Tap Nettlecyst for a mana, tap Springleaf Drum for a mana, make a Saga token. Oh no, I have enough, right? 1, 2, 3. Tap these 2, make a Saga token. Tap the Saga tokens, 3, okay. Well, I guess I should probably tap like this. Right, tap this, 2, yeah. When a Mishra's Bauble to storm with Moonsnare. I mean, storming with Moonsnare is not something I'm interested in, I guess. The problem with Mishra's Bauble is always a little awkward in Affinity, right? Where you want it to stay in play to provide you Affinity early, but you also need that cantrip really badly early. In my opinion, all of the other cheap artifacts I'm playing are better cheap Affinity enablers than the Moonsnare. Although, of course, I'm always open to suggestions for what you would play instead. I'm currently of the opinion that Aether Spellbomb, Crab Token, or the Hard Evidence, Moonsnare Prototype, the 0 mana creatures are better Affinity enablers than Bauble. So I probably have enough mana to do this with both Nexuses. They might. Okay, they're just putting the both on this here. This is good for me. Otawara can bounce Inkmoth. Thoughts, advice for playing Jessica Lowe's videos? We get an RPTQ. I think it's an okay choice. I played it a couple RPTQs ago. It's definitely like a higher variance deck, but it's like one that you can absolutely run hot with and win. So I wish you luck. Bob will go with Imri. Yeah, but Imri's not good in the deck. I don't know. Like, again, I've spent a lot of time working on the archetype. In my opinion, that the best payoffs are Thoughtcast, Thought Monitor, Urza, Nettlecyst, and Urza Saga. I think that Imri is like a tier below these cards. It's slow, very vulnerable to removal. It takes 2 turns for Imri to draw you 2 cards, for Thoughtcast and Thought Monitor draw you 2 cards immediately, which is really nice. Just like not that interested in it, I guess. Winning this game would be awesome. I would really, really like to win this game. It's gonna be tricky though. Yeah. You also need to figure out how to play Bauble and Imri in the deck. You know, that's 8 different cards here. You know, it's very easy to do the classic, suggest cards to add and not suggest cards to cut. But better for me if you do. I think I have to get Aether Spellbomb to not die to Inkmoth Nexus. It's really nice that Aether Spellbomb doesn't have to tap to bounce. I'm not sure how valuable it is to play another Nettlecyst here. I don't have lethal, right? I don't have lethal. No Neoturtle Saga. It's in the sideboard. You can main deck it. I'm just currently not. I'm gonna spin. Not the best spin. I can play the Nettlecyst. I'll let them draw a card. I feel like at this point in the game, letting them draw a card just doesn't matter very much. Maybe I let them draw towards the Blacksmith skill. Not even clear like main decking. Just having more mana and play next turn with my Urza is really nice. Yeah, they could draw the card. Yeah, can't we just pay the 22? Not today. Not today. Man, I would just love to win this game. Can you lethal with another prototype bouncing Shadowspear and blocks? Maybe. I mean, I've got to draw something here, right? You know. What's your draws winning this game? Dealing with that life-leaking threat is going to be tough. I don't know necessarily, because I have, like, 60 points of power in play here. Like, I think I'm just blocking. And then... now I'm bouncing the Sentinel, I think. Thank you, Mon. Appreciate ya. My opponent does get to move. They get to move the equipment post board. We're gonna need to find, obviously, something this turn. But I think I don't want to lose 3 of my big guys and let my opponent gain 30 plus life. I think maybe another bounce effect is gonna let me win this game. And I do have 3 more Aether Spellbombs and 2 more Moonsnare Prototypes. Although I can't spin Urza into Moonsnare. Okay. 0 mana, draw 2. Take it. Always a good start to a turn. Play a Mox Sapphire. Spin Urza. Not the most helpful. I don't love it, but I think the play has to be equipping the Nettlecysts onto the Thought Monitor. I think I have to put 3 of them on here. Three Nettlecysts on a Thought is a win. I mean, my opponent has 3 hammers. If they have the 4th hammer on the Thought Monitor, this is a chump block, I guess. Jump block with my 38. Oh, sorry. I should have tapped this Nettlecyst. Oops. This looks horrible. 2-tap Nettlecyst sandwiching an untapped one. Or just now I lose to Sentinel. Yeah, I don't think I lose to it because they have 4 hammers, 3 hammers. I have 4 blockers. But I think, you know, we've given them a lot of cards. Like the ability for them to have their 4th hammer here is not that tough. That being said, we're not dead to this attack. But they definitely have the 4th hammer if they're attacking like this. They don't have it. They just have the 2nd Nexus, of course. It was so clear. Got negative 32 -1/-1 counters here. I forgot what a headache this matchup can be. Okay, we have to find an Aether Spellbomb again, I think. No. Yeah, I can't channel there. think I let them draw the cards. Okay, I guess we get another construct. Just not enough. I don't have any flyers besides this thought monitor. I can play and equip the Nettlecyst here to give it plus 14 plus or plus 15 plus 15. So it'll be a 30 power blocker. I guess that's enough to survive. I do have a Shadowspear in the deck, yeah. I guess this is enough to survive. If they don't have the 4th hammer. Oh, yeah, plus the 60 because of the Saga, okay. Okay. Oh, and then all these other, yeah, all these other sagas give plus 2, so now it's a 34-34. Okay, your turn. Why give them cards? I can't pay 21 and 12 mana for these things. Genius Smith. Art, thank you for the 2-pack, appreciate you. So if they have the 4th hammer, we're still not dead if they go on the Nexus again. My opponent, I think, still doesn't have the 4th hammer. At least they didn't reveal it to the Smith. And if they had the 4th hammer, I don't think they would have Smithed in the first place. What is the out here? I can draw a series of cards to find Aether Spellbomb. I mean, you know, my opponent's at 90 life, but I have like 100 power in play. You know, I think it's gonna be fine. You ever see a thought monitor with 64 -1 counters on it? I've never seen a live creature with 64 -1 counters on it. I'll do this deck after this game. Or lose thing with 8 months and fuck it with the 3. Appreciate you as well. Okay, this 3rd Inkmoth Nexus, though. Now I really have to find an out to this. Now I really have to find an out to this. Island draw for turn, okay. Oh boy! That's like quietly a great hit. Alright, rest in peace, sweet thought monitor. You served us well. It's time for your big brother, Ornithopter, to take over. Okay, 850 should be big enough, although... Yeah, this should be fine. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, why is this one still, like... Okay, I need to tap this so I don't lose my sanity. And then I can Shadowspear this Ornithopter next turn. Just take a quick look here. Do the deck after the game. This game's too crazy to dilute any focus from. No attacks! How do we win this game, Spike? How do we win this game? It's easy to win this game. What are you talking about? Easy game to win. Let's put another 16-16 into play. Wait, hold on. I can definitely start attacking too. I just get another Aether Spellbomb, right? I don't think I get the Shadowspear. Shadowspear might win. Do I really have to count? Okay, if I go Shadowspear equipped to this, this actually they conceded! Yes, thank you, opponent. Thank you so much for conceding there. Oh man, I was not gonna be able to like do this math. Dude, that game was so easy. That was the easiest game I've ever played in my entire life. That game was so freaking easy. I can't believe it. I'm just gonna bring in a needle for a relic and click submit, by the way. Easy game. How do we win? It was easy to win the whole time. Just Rakdos creativity is interesting. I feel like splashing colors is pretty easy and pretty worthwhile. I think in any deck in Modern, I'm interested in playing the 4 Thoughtseize over the 3rd Inquisition. And in this deck, it's especially relevant so that you can take particularly Solitude, but taking Solitude, Omnath, Fury, Murktide Regent is all really, really important. Primeval Titan, Karn the Great Creator. There's just kind of no into the list. Listen, you can't... Thoughtseize players, play the 4th Thoughtseize. It'll give you a decent amount of extra equity against Omnath. I think the Kolaghan's commands here don't make much sense. They don't have much synergy in the deck. They don't make tokens. Return it. You don't have any good creatures to recur. I wouldn't play the Kolaghan's commands here. I'd probably play 3 push, 3 bolts. 2 terminates fine. Chandra Acolyte of Flame is fine here too. I think I kind of like the Planeswalker split. I'm kind of feeling it. The Den of the Bugbear is awkward because you want to make sure that you have as much mountains as possible for Dwarven Mine. I understand why you want to play it, but I think I would just not. Probably play the 4th basic mountain instead. I think Ob is like, if you can bring this in against exactly Burn, I don't think it's a good choice necessarily because your Burn matchup is probably fine being in on Archon. If I'm wrong about that, then go ahead and ignore me and play it, but I don't know that I'm wrong. Okay, I think I'm gonna play. It's an interesting draw. I think I play Hard Evidence on turn 1. It's a bit more resilient to like Prismatic Ending and stuff. Yeah, I really don't like these Kolaghan's commands. I want to get them out of there. I think this Planeswalker split is fine. There's maybe a better plan. I might be interested in like 2nd copy of Persist, or like playing on Markgrave and Persist could be a different option besides the Planeswalker plan. That could be potentially better, but this doesn't seem necessarily bad. Alright, so I have 2 artifacts in play. Three. No. Okay. It's fine, I guess. Storm count 4. A competitive tournament, how do you deal with tilting out? I'm kind of struggling with it. I mean, tilt gets better over time. Like, the more you feel it, the more you're better at dealing with it. You know, like, for me, I've just, like, lost to, like, a lot of really high-stake matches in my life. and when that happens, you just, like, you know, it just gets easier to deal with it. Yeah, it's just a game, you know. I know that's, you know, kind of the boring answer, but it is the true answer too. Just a game. It's not that big a deal. Try to get some perspective. There's always more important things going on in life than your results at a Magic tournament. Okay. So get a Shadowspear here. We'll see how well we're doing after we untap. I don't think I've got too many more notes. I think that this version is probably not as good as Grixis or Temur. I think it's interesting, though. It looks really fun. Again, you got to get these commands out of here. You got to play the 4 Thoughtseize. 3/3 split of Inquisition, Thoughtseize, 2 Terminate seems fine. I could see maybe playing like an extra Liliana in the main. It's maybe too many 3-drops, but if you're cutting the Kolaghan's commands, it could be fine. Sideboard doesn't seem like it's like drastically missing anything either. You could consider Hidetsugu Consumes All if your Hammer Time is giving you trouble, which I think it might be, but definitely feels like an okay list.
You
So,
found yours?
huh?
You found yours?
I did, yeah, I did. Thank you.
You need mine? No.
Can I take up? Yeah, just for when they run out. You swear.
Well, the headphones are fully charged. Not the case, but...
Yeah, I know.
Oh, in case these run out.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright.
Okay, let's go to 1, I guess. You never been at 1 before, kid? I was born at 1 life. I'll die at 1 life too. Chip. Chip. I want to play Kegame now. Exclusive's new Double Masters 2 art. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Alright, now we win. Get to draw cards. I think I have to make a token. I have to get a Aether Spellbomb. Can't play the Moonsnare because it doesn't tap for blue. I could play a Thought Monitor, but I just obviously have to leave up the Aether Spellbomb, so just pass. Dead to Blacksmith Skill. But who's never not dead to Blacksmith Skill? Yeah, life totals I think are like just like last game showed. Life gains are kind of less relevant than they seem, because we're capable of dealing hundreds and hundreds of damage. Although maybe my opponent conceded too early. Yeah, if a mod wants to remove that plug, that's fine. Not like a huge deal, but yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and bounce the Pure Steel Paladin. Then chump block the chip. Okay. What's the command? Do I just like copy paste and del plug it? Flying under VPN? No, that's just like my contract didn't renew. They don't renew most people's contracts after like a few months because everybody who's gonna sign up is gonna sign up. Wait, they spent 2 mana to equip Shadowspear instead of replaying the Paladin, which is a bit weird. I think we probably don't make a token with this one. It's so tempting to... I'm 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm 1 mana short of being able to Needle Colossus Hammer, then Moonsnare Prototype the chip. That would be really nice if I could do that, though. I guess I could needle the hammer though, and I could just like play a Nettlecyst, and that's gonna be big enough to like block the chip here. That's probably fine. Wait, how do you spell Colossus? Colossus Hammer needled. Thought Monitor first. We have 3 mana though. Draw into Spellbomb. I think this line's a little bit better. Where they go Stoneforge. You got another hammer with the Stoneforge. So Sigarda's Aid probably gets me. The Paladin that's in their hand doesn't do much. Prismatic Ending gets me though. We also have game 3 on the play. Have you ever looked deeper into Twiddlestorm? Not really. I think the deck has like historically been kind of underplayed though. Okay, they get to put 2 more hammers on this. It's gonna be 31 power, trample. Game 3. It's been the play for game 3, which is huge. Am I now sponsored by TCG with CP acquisition? I guess. I don't know. Like, not officially right now. Right now, the 2 companies are still operating independently. My team, like content manager and like fellow Channel Fireball team members are staying the same. I don't know if we're going to be called TCG Player or if we're still even going to keep the name Channel Fireball, and this is just going to be like Channel Fireball is like maybe the content, the content creators of old, all the boomers. Maybe that's going to be the new branding, but I don't really care too much about the branding, right? I'm going to keep this as a fast Thought Monitor. So Mold 5. Ceremonious Rejections are for Tron, which is a popular deck and like this deck's worst matchup. So, and I think that's the best way to hedge against it. No, I don't usually think Rejection's good against Hammer. It has its moments, but I think it's a bit too narrow. Although no one ever plays around it. Yeah, I think Channel Fireball has like a lot of good like recognition for brand recognition. So I think if they eliminated that, I think they would be losing out on some value. But it's up to them. It doesn't really matter to me. So 4 artifacts. Alright, so I guess this turn we're playing a little bit slower. Esper Sentinel, pay for Esper Sentinel. Mingu permaban someone for saying Team sees TCG. Yeah, I hope that it stays branded as it is. No hammer. Or if they have a hammer, maybe they're putting on Nexus. But now I've got the Aether Spellbomb up. I like to play the drum here, but I also would like to not trigger Sentinel with my opponent's stumbling, so I'll just pass. TCG buying one of the biggest competitors is kind of suck. I guess, I don't know. I'm just like not really ever very interested in the boring business side of Magic stuff. You know what I mean? I like working with the Channel Fireball team. They've all been really nice and good to me. The people are staying the same. That's what I care about. Well, just like I don't think we have like any knowledge or like ability to like super speculate on exactly how TCG player buying Channel Fireball is going to affect things. We'll just see what happens when it happens, right? Not doom too much. Still doom a little bit. So probably have to get another Springleaf Drum here. Yeah, let's just spend this turn developing our mana a little bit more. Definitely interested in pressuring my opponent before this Urza Saga gets them a hammer. Lessons innovation in the marketplace. I think that's a fair criticism. I also just like, maybe there's opportunity for other innovation. We'll just see what happens. I think that for the most part, community's reaction to any piece of Magic news is to immediately be negative on it, which, you can have your reasons for doing that, but at the very least, I like to wait and see how things change before I ever formulate a super heavy opinion. Okay, so land for turn. So I think the line is lead on a Nettlecyst. And then probably just crew the Dreadnought and hold up double Aether Spellbomb. So I can bounce a Dreadnought. If I bounce a Dreadnought, I still have 18 damage. Or bounce a Construct. Then my opponent has to chump with Paladin or Nexus. Both of those things put me in really good position. I also think that this hedges a little bit better against my opponent needling my Aether Spellbombs, which I'm a little bit worried about. Got one card in their hand. Looks like they're going to opt for a chump block with Inkmoth Nexus instead of with Pure Steel Paladin. So if I bounce this Pure Steel Paladin, my opponent's going to make a Construct token on their turn, put a hammer on it, and they're like losing really hard if that happens. I think denying the card draw seems like the right line, because I think the only way my opponent's really getting out of this is if they can like chain a bunch of cards together off of Pure Steel Paladin. I don't think that they're going to be able to get out of this just by like going make a Construct, put a hammer on it. Should we just go for lethal? I think we had lethal because they had all these blockers. If I bounce two things with the... Yeah, they would have had another blocker if I just bounced more aggressively here. Yeah, unless I'm missing something, I don't think we could have killed them. We missed lethal when they fetched. Okay, someone explain to me how I missed lethal, because I don't think I did. They had 3 blockers. I don't see how I'm double spellbombing and hitting them with like a 3rd big creature here. They got Memnite. So there's Pure Steel Paladin, 2 mystery cards. One of the mystery cards is Arid Mesa. Do I stand on the ground? My standing desk came with a rocker thing I'm kind of enjoying. I just stand on the floor, yeah. People have been talking about like needing like padding to stand on. I haven't been bothered by just standing on the floor. I have like pretty squishy carpet, I guess, though. Okay, they needle Nettlecyst, which is fine. That's fine. But here I'll just play another Nettlecyst, crew the Dreadnought. Get in. This is lethal. Because if they block both constructs, they take 9 exactly. They're at 9. Alright, good league so far. 3-1. GG. Very, very interesting. The matchup against Hammer is always super interesting. I think playing 4 Aether Spellbombs makes the matchup okay, though. We don't miss lethal. Using the second Spellbomb to pressure more, but realize that was a bad play. Yeah, I think I like how we played this turn. Or that turn. Yeah, great match. Game 1 was wild, although it was also very easy to win that game. It's a very easy game to win. Alright, no payoff, gonna mulligan. Gonna keep this one. I think I'm putting back Basic Island. Is there any plan to remove the 1 million redemption? I like the 1 million redemption. I don't know why I would want to remove it. Or are you just asking because you're about to get there? I have no plans to remove the VIP or mod prediction. It is my favorite prediction. I do have plans to return to the hat one, but I have to unpack my hats first. And that could take any amount of time. So turn 1 Urza Saga is usually going to be Titan. Titan's a rough matchup. We do have a bunch of Ashioks in the sideboard to hedge against it. Oversea Otter, thank you for Twitch Prime. Appreciate you. I think the hats might be in this box, actually. Hold on. I wasn't sure where the hats were. I know that there are some costumes in here. The various costumes from over the years. Alright, looking in bad shape here. Junior seems dead. It's always dead. There's like sound pads in here. Sound pads, and then there's my Keanu Reeves cosplay that I got for Kamigawa that I never ended up wearing. That's literally the only costume in here. Okay. It was like pretty extensive. I never ended up really wearing it because I thought it didn't come together super well. Oh no, I meant to cast the Thought Monitor. Dang it. Dude, I keep missing one of these clicks. Although I might get to now bounce Oboro for a blue source here. Okay. Well, definitely not feeling like we're in good shape, but pass back. Seeing the blue-white deck use Shredders and Affinity. Well, I mean, Shredder's never bad in any deck. Can you upgrade my mic to a headset or better boom mic? Headset might be kind of interesting. Headset might be kind of interesting. I don't know. Also, to like some extent, I kind of like the relatively scuffed nature of the standing desk and the I don't know. I just kind of like keeping it real, not super high production value. But I wouldn't necessarily hate a headset either. I think I can't win. Bring in the Ashioks. You get Needle Besage in this matchup. You can Needle Teleria West. I'm definitely going to cut the Relic. I'm going to cut the Shadowspear as well, I think. Could have Memnite. It could have been. No, I'm going to cut the Moon. No, Moonsnare is like the channel's okay, actually. I could have Memnite. This is fine. Don't think I want the Needle. Have any more thoughts of the Grixis? No, let's begin the Needle. Let's begin the Needle. Let's cut for a Spellbomb. Grixis mid-range is fine. I think that I probably want to build it differently. And like that differently is maybe going to look like no Dragon Rage's Channeler, maybe Voidwalker, and like maybe more like the Rakdos deck with a light blue splash rather than Grixis Shadow with a higher curve. Is kind of where I'm at, but I'll keep working on it. Keep Spear. I don't know. Is Spear good against Titan? I think no. It has its moments though. It's be better than third Aether Spellbomb. Spellbomb's not that good. Would you sometimes play Shredder not as a play set? Well, I don't know. It's like usually the best card in your deck. So I usually want to play it as a play set. Okay, no Ashiok. Really slow hand. I'm going to mulligan. Gotta go as 5. That's definitely the problem with this archetype is it doesn't mulligan that well. Let's keep this though. I think I'm putting back Moonsnare Prototype and then Urza. Need to draw a blue land, but then that blue land will let me cast the Ashiok. We're going to play both Voidwalker and Drown. I usually find that there's not really that much tension between Voidwalker and Drown, where if you get to untap with your Voidwalker and you have a Drown in your hand that's awkward, you can just sack your Voidwalker most of the time. There's obviously some tension, but I usually find it to not be a big deal. Now we can't Ashiok next turn. We can't stop the Urza Saga from triggering. It might be a fast 3-1 to 3-2. I use 2 Grixis Drum as my Grixis mid-range list. I think that card is not very good. Or at least worse than other 3-mana options. What does 8 cast mean? We have 4 Thoughtcast and 4 Thought Monitor. Yeah, it's like always mulligan so badly. 8 Drum. Yeah, you could call it 8 Drum. Well, let's hope my opponent has a non-functional hand. 8 Thought? Yeah, you could do that. I know, I have a friend who plays the deck and calls it 8 Thought, like T-H-O-T. I can't remember what her list looked like. She did pretty well at Vegas with it. Sergeant Kidder, 19 months, appreciate you. 9 Thought? Is the 9th Thought the pilot? Hovering over the concede button. Although, I don't know. Okay, so I can make a Saga token, and then I can cast Hard Evidence or Thoughtcast next turn. Even if I brick. Ooh. So I still can't Ashiok. It's so embarrassing. Yeah, these anemic draws are definitely the worst part of playing the archetype. I think I will just go ahead and cast the Hard Evidence, so I have another token to tap to the Springleaf Drum. Hope my opponent's draw continues to not be able to play Titan. They could have played a Titan last turn if they had a bounce lane and a Titan in their hand. They didn't do it last turn, so maybe they won't do it this turn. And then we get to go, like, make a Urza Saga token, cast an Ashiok, and generally be in really good shape. Kidder, thank you for the 19 months. Appreciate you. Welcome back. I will concede to a Titan and go to the next league, though, if they have it. Oh, turn Timber Symbiosis. Don't have to concede to that one yet. Into Cultivator Colossus. It's probably good enough. It's probably good enough. Alright, let's say it's good enough. Okay, 3-2 First League. Let's run it back. I'm going to play at least one more with Affinity today. Definitely a deck I've been really wanting to circle back to. I like this build we've got as well. Gonna pay out the prediction, run out a beginning of league prediction.